So if we can get a guy on the phone having like a career year and going to the Olympics, that'd be great. We got him? Okay, James Van Riemsdyk's on the line. Hi, James.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Pretty good. Listen, everyone's freaking out because they think you're hurt. Are you hurt? How are you feeling? Every second tweet I see out of the MasterCard Center is like James Van Riemsdyk's on the ice. He's not on the ice. He was on the ice for 10 minutes. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's just something, again, that we're just trying to be smart about with, obviously we've been playing a lot of games this year in a short amount of time, and we know there's a lot of games coming up and a lot of important games. So trying to maximize treatments and getting proper rest and stuff in. So, again, we're just going about it in that regard.
James, in terms of last night, being down 2-0 at home, there was a moment this season where you guys don't come back from that. There was a moment this season where maybe the confidence isn't there to beat a team when you're in a hole like that. What's changed? What's the mentality of the room where you can go down 2-0 and say la vie and just play your game and get back into it?
Well, surprisingly enough, I don't think our confidence has ever really been too shaken. I mean, obviously, you're going to go through tough stretches throughout the year. It's 82 games. Every team goes through it every year, and you just got to stick with it and stick together. And I think that's the key with us. No matter how tough or dark things may have looked from the outside, we've done our best to try to just make sure we stay even keeled and just stick with the process.
It's funny because Sid and I were talking off air about a quote that Joffrey Lupul had about a month ago. He sucked. Kadri was getting traded and Randy Carlyle was getting fired, and now everything's ho-hum. Are you telling me that through all that, you guys in that room have remained steadfast in what you thought you were?
Yeah, again, I think our room, we know we have a great group in there, and we never really panic too much. When things aren't going our way, we just try to stick with it, and you're going to always go through tough stretches. It's a long year, a lot of games. There's a lot of different factors that go into things, and you just got to stick with it. And I think as long as you're progressing and as long as you're trying to stay confident as best you can, I think you usually fight out of those tough stretches.
Is it tough to play in a market that does that sometimes around you?
Yeah, it must be crazy, James.
It must be
insane.
Jackasses like us.
Yeah.
You learn to laugh it off. I think as much as big as the media is in Toronto, I don't think it has quite as much bite as it did in Philly. So
really,
I'm somewhat used to the stuff that can go with the media as far as things that are said in the media and stuff like that. And for me personally, I don't really read too much into anything or even let any of that bother me. So I just try to stick with my own program as far as just, we know what we have in the room. All you care about is what your teammates and coaches and management think about what's going on, and we try to just stick together with that and block out any outside distractions.
So you're saying, James, the 30 guys in the scrum every day in Toronto are a little nicer than the 6 guys down in Philly. The 6 guys down in Philly got more bite to them, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm stirring the pot with that comment, but
no, you're not there anymore. What the hell, man? You're good. You left that market. You're fine.
Again, it's a little bit different dynamic. They're both great. Obviously, there's a lot of passion in both places, but it's a little bit different dynamic as far as that goes.
James Van Riemsdyk, Maple Leafs here on Tim and Sid. Leafs, a big win last night, 3 points out of second in their division. Mark Fraser, James, is a guy who was dealt today. He never seemed to get any luck with injuries. He was in the room a lot. He was in and out of the lineup this year. Your thoughts on Mark leaving, and what kind of a teammate was he?
Yeah, he was a tremendous teammate, a guy that we loved in the room. He worked really hard, and obviously, like you said, had some tough luck with some injuries this year, but it looks like he'll go to Edmonton and get a great opportunity, and we're happy for him for that, and we'll definitely miss him here.
James Van Riemsdyk joining us here on Tim and Sid. You can follow him on Twitter, JVReamer21 on Twitter. 22 is a career high, and it comes in game number 54. What's gone right for you this year?
I think for me personally, again, you get some good balances. You've obviously get an opportunity to play in some key situations, play on the power play, and the coaching staff shows some confidence in me. And again, I think I've been able to take that and kind of run with it. Obviously, I'm playing with some great line mates out there too, so that helps a lot. And again, it's fun. It's a fun city to play in, and I'm enjoying my time in Toronto. James,
there was a quote from Coach Carlyle a few days ago. And he was talking about you specifically, and people were asking what's kind of changed along the lines of kind of where Timmy went with the question. And Carlisle said when you and he first started working together, he would ask you to do something or ask you to change something and give you some kind of critique. And he said you were a but what if guy, but what about guy, in terms of maybe questioning some things a lot. And what he said was you've turned into okay, I see your point. Is there any meat on that bone? Do you think he's right?
Oh, yeah. I think me personally, I'm a very, I think the way I look at things is very cerebral, and I like to maybe, again, there's a time and a place to want to know the different reasonings and stuff behind that. And I think, again, if I can wrap my head around the reasoning behind we want to do something or what I could have done differently, then I think I'm definitely very receptive to things like that. And I think I've definitely, like you said, I think I've come a long way in that area as far as one to maybe talk through things with him and one to just kind of say okay and let it go. So again, I think we have a good relationship, and again, they've helped me a lot over my time here. All the coaches here, they've been great as far as I think as far as details and preparing the team, I think we're probably one of the most prepared teams in the league as far as just knowing what to expect night in, night out from the opposition and knowing what's expected out of us. So that's huge for a player, and again, there's no excuses for us not to be prepared as far as knowing what the other team's going to do and what they want out of us.
My athletic career was failed and miserable. However, I did learn a few things along the way. And one of the things that I learned playing football was sometimes things just click. And there's a point where you figure things out that you hadn't figured out earlier. Obviously, someone in Philadelphia looked at you and said, this guy at, 22 years old is expendable. Did something click to turn this into a career high in goals in game number 54?
Again, I've said it all along since I've gotten here. I think the key for me has just been getting that opportunity. I think, again, I showed in Philadelphia when I was kind of in those offensive roles, playing some key minutes, playing on the power play, that I was able to be a productive player. And for whatever reason, I've gotten more of an opportunity here to be in those situations and to be in those prominent roles that I didn't necessarily get in Philly. So, again, they did what they had to do, and obviously I'm happy to be in Toronto, happy with how things have gone here so far, and happy with the group that we have. So, again, it's sports. It's the way things happen sometimes, and you just got to move on and put your best foot forward and go from there.
It's kind of funny because given that Lupul clip quote that we brought up a little earlier, Nazem Kadri is kind of going through the exact same thing that you went through in Philadelphia at the age of 23 here in Toronto. Have you ever talked to him about kind of going through that where people are nitpicking from the outside?
With Naz, he never lets anything bother him. I admire that about him. Again, he's obviously, I'm sure, being drafted here and dealing with it for the last 5 or so years that he has. He's probably developed a thick skin, and I think just the way his personality is, he never lets anything bother him. So that's one of probably his best attributes. He's a very confident player in person, and again, I don't think any of that stuff that was being said about him ever really rattled him. So again, he's a key part of our team and a great player, and obviously, again, he's playing really well right now.
And a great falafeler.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great ad. It's a great ad. And if there's ever the type of guy who has to have thick skin in this market, it's a first overall pick, or a first round pick by the Leafs. You know what I mean, James? It's just you need Nazem's makeup based on what you're telling us. It is absolutely perfect for this market.
Yeah, obviously he thrives. He likes to play in those big time situations, those pressure situations. I mean, he's a guy that when it's a big game, you can count on him to be an impact player and come up big for us. And I think he's done that since I've been here. Obviously, with him, he's done a tremendous job of stepping up in those big moments. And again, he's a big time player. James
Van Riemsdyk, Toronto Maple Leafs. About a week from now, James, the opening ceremonies of the 2014 Winter Olympics will be happening in Sochi. Do you anticipate being at those opening ceremonies?
Well, I think the opening ceremonies are on the 7th, so I don't think we'll even be over there.
Oh, you won't even know. You'll be making the trek at that point. Okay. It probably won't be that good anyway.
You won't miss dancing around.
Stand just fireworks, the flame lit, whatever. You'll catch him at the closing ceremonies, even if you're there for it.
Right. There might be some interesting women walking around.
But. James, have you wrapped your head around the fact this is about to happen?
The Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's something that's very exciting. I mean, I remember going to the orientation camp in the summer, and again, that was one of my goals at the start of the year was to hopefully get a chance to represent your country on this stage. And now that it's obviously right around the corner, it's extremely exciting. And again, it's going to be a great opportunity for us to go over there, and there's a lot of great teams, and again, it should be some great hockey.
Obviously not sure what Dan Bilesman's going to do with that roster. It would be, I'm sure for you and Phil, it would be amazing to play together wearing the USA jersey. No one knows if that's going to happen, but what type of thrill would that be if you got to play on a line with Kessel at the Olympics?
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I mean, I think we've developed some good chemistry over the last year or so here, and I think we feed off each other pretty well. And again, in a shorter tournament like that, the key is obviously getting that team chemistry and that cohesiveness as early as you can, and then just building on it. So again, we don't know what the coaching staff has planned for us, but we're gonna go over there and be ready to go, and we're definitely excited about the challenges that await for us over there.
Is there a guy on that team that you grew up playing with that you have some sort of chemistry with, or that you played with a bunch of times before?
You know what? I actually grew up playing youth hockey against Kevin Shattenkirk, and we played together at the U.S. program, played against each other in college. So I always enjoyed playing on the same side as him versus battling against him. So it's fun, again, when you have a connection of guys like that through different things in USA hockey to be on the same team as them. So, again, he's a great friend of mine, and it's fun going over there with guys like that, and again, it'll be fun to be on the same team as him again.
Nice.
James, obviously watching the HBO 24/7 family is a big part of who you are. It's a big part of your hockey life. It's a big part of how you grew up. How much of the family is making the trip with you to Sochi?
You know what? Unfortunately, the family's not going to be able to make it for this time. I got a younger brother who's got some stuff going on at home, and so my parents had to be around for him because he's the type of kid who, if you leave him at home for 2 weeks alone, you never know what you're going to get back to.
It's so, like Project X, the movie, when you guys get back, right?
Yeah. We might be over in Russia and see him on CNN with the whole neighborhood burning down. So they're gonna stay back with him. And obviously, they really wanted to come, but it didn't end up working out for this time.
Well, congratulations on the play of late. Keep going, and thanks for taking the time and doing this with us.
Alrighty, thanks for having me, guys.